Everything comes into the world with its mouth open. Eating is a primary function of life. When I was on undergrad work, a wise professor showed up one day and he said, "What is the ultimate purpose of the musculature and skeletal system of any animal?" You can answer the question in one sentence. He said, "The ultimate purpose of the musculature and skeletal system is for locomotion, for food gathering. He moves about in his own particular way to eat." He says, once you get there, if you don't have the proper mechanism to eat with, your ultimate purpose for existing is gone. We look at the sanctuaries of things that we visited, and they're just loaded with dental disease, oral pathology. And so the drive is to hopefully render, to put their mouth in working order so they can survive a little bit longer without any pain, without any disease.
In 2005, Peter Emily invited myself and Bob Wiggs to coffee one morning and told us that he had a dream that he wanted to fulfill, and it was he wanted to create a legacy for himself, and he wanted to help animals worldwide with their oral health. And that's how the foundation got started.
Peter kept on talking about doing these missions, and I said, well, why don't we just do it? And we think we've had 25, 30 missions since then.
So it started out from just 5 or 6 of us going out on these things to our mission now here today in Indiana. I think we have 21 people that are involved in some way or another here with our mission.
Welcome to the Exotic Feline Rescue Center. And as you probably heard as you were walking in, they have a few wild animals around here. I'm Steve Holmstrom. I think we know all of you, but I'm mission leader this time around. Chris is going to be one team leader, and the other team leader, Ed, and then the boss, Peter.
The pretty face.
Yeah, the pretty face.
Well, the Peter Emily Foundation, these folks usually come out here twice a year. These animals are quite often in terrible physical shape when they get here. Dental problems are one of the more common as well as one of the more difficult problems to deal with.
The health of the cats, it's very easy to see when they're not feeling good just by observing their everyday behavior. You can just see it, that they're not feeling well. If they're not getting up for food, if they're moving really slow, you know something's wrong.
When it's fixed, you can certainly tell a difference. Their appetites improve, their weight picks up, the qualities of their coats go up. You see it really making a concrete difference in their lives.
The worst thing I've seen was I was in China at one of the at the bio farm. The bio farm is they trap these moon bears, and they put them in a little cage that's like the size of a coffin. And the poor things, we went to do a couple of root canals on them. We opened the door for them, and they don't know how to get up. They're just paralyzed in there for being on their side for 2 years. They're absolutely abominable.
That cage had 2 4-year-old tigers in it that had lived in that cage their whole life. This was a group of circus tigers. When they weren't actually performing or being trained, they lived in these cages. They were extremely battered and bruised and scraped up and incredibly unhappy.
So many of these animals in sanctuaries had been abused, very great abuse on them. A lot of them have broken their teeth off because they bite the cages, that sort of thing, especially their canine teeth. And so one of the biggest things we do is try to keep them from being so painful in their mouth.
And it just breaks my heart to hear the suffering that these cats go through when they're held by private owners. I remember a story of one cat that had been kept in a garage when it was young. The person thought it would be fun to have a tiger kitten, and then it started growing up into an actual tiger. And in order to keep it in the garage, they used to hit it with a baseball bat to keep it back and keep it from charging them. And it got damaged teeth. The baseball bat injured a whole bunch of his front teeth. So once he was in the sanctuary and healthier again, then we came in and did some of the work work on his teeth to take him out of that pain.
And so what our objective on these is to basically do root canals on these or extract teeth that are extremely bad, that sort of thing, to get them out of their pain.
If an animal is not eating well because of chronic infection or pain, it's going to affect his entire well-being.
It allows you to go in one pass without coming out and going into the other. Started the first school of veterinary medicine to ever have a dental curriculum we had at Colorado State. And I leaned on them to let me do that. And they said, well, you can start a night class and by all pro bono work. And I said if it goes over, we can continue doing it. So I started a night class and went from there and just kept right on going. I think I was always destined to be a veterinarian before even, because I loved animals all my life. I got word that the Denver Zoo had it was a hyena that had a fractured tooth and it was very, very much abscessed. And they said, would you come out and extract it? I said, no, we're going to do a root canal on it. Well, no one had ever heard of a root canal on a hyena or a big animal. I knew what it would be, so I figured the only thing to do this root canal, I had to make my own instruments. And I went out there and did the root canal on the hyena, and it turned out beautifully. The abscess cleared up, and so working with animals and dogs became a secondary thing, and started writing a few textbooks and started teaching different people, veterinarians, how to do this. The Peter Emily Foundation is the only place where these students can get hands-on training in multiple exotic species. I can't think of any other place in the world where they could get hands-on training in exotic animal dentistry. Nowhere.
The legacy that I hope to maintain from Peter is teaching the next generation. I already feel that there are new people that are coming up that are doing fabulous work, and there's always new people to teach. There's always people that are interested in learning.
So sooner or later we can get more trained personnel to go to the other shelters and sanctuaries and bring their own trainees there, who will bring other trainees, and eventually we can get the whole world.
Peter's generosity to helping these animals is just essential. I mean, it's the basis for everything that we've done, and I hope that we can continue to build on that. We just need the funding to be able to do it, and we need the people interested in wanting to come along and learn and be able to grow and help these animals.
That's the biggest thing is funding on anything like this. This takes a tremendous amount of money. It's thousands of dollars just to ship our equipment here all the time, to maintain it, to keep the packs in good order, that sort of thing.
Well, we have a clinic on site and we have a veterinarian who has been with us for a number of years. To do the kind of work that the Peter Emily Foundation does requires lots of specialized equipment, lots of specialized skills.
I can say our funding goes basically to buy new equipment at this point in time. Like I say, pretty much everybody is paying their own way. We don't take anything for ourselves. I've had a few people say, well, that must be pretty lucrative being able to go into these sanctuaries. And I says, no, it costs me about $500 to $600 every time I come out to one of these things, you know. And then they ask, well, why do you do that if it costs so much money? And my answer is because I believe in what I'm doing.
The only organization that I'm aware of that does exactly what they're doing as far as bringing individuals together, like-minded and of experience, who can then teach others to do veterinary dentistry. It's just the only one.
And we are absolutely 100% grateful for the work that the Peter Emily Foundation does for us, because it's just, we never realized how much work needed done on these animals when we see just a broken tooth.
You know, I think it's an amazing experience for all of us, for them, for us, and especially for the animals that we have managed to take care of.
"40 years ago, I never thought we would be where we are today. With your continued support, we can treat so many more animals and alleviate so much more suffering. In just the last 6 years, through generous donations from sponsors just like you, we've been able to help nearly 200 animals across the United States. With your continued support, we could multiply those numbers and expand our reach worldwide. Be part of this change. It's through human intervention that these animals end up in captivity. And it's through human intervention that we must alleviate their suffering and make the remainder of their lives as healthy and pain-free as possible. If you'd like to join us in our journey, then please donate today. Not only will you be making contributions to the foundation, but you can choose to join us in our next mission as a student or tourist and be able to see your donation in action. Make the choice today to help Peter Emily Foundation ensure these animals live a happier and healthier tomorrow. For all the help and support you've given the foundation, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.